Good evening. It's Diane, and I am coming to you on Wednesday, May the 23rd today? 21st, 23rd today, and I am coming to you with week 4 of the On the Horizon stamp set, my tea and cards. So, quick review: week number 1, week number 2. We embossed using the embossing folder. Week number 3 was our double Z fold card with a subtle background or a more pronounced background. And week number 4 tonight is going to use a window sheet. All you need is your Night of Navy ink to build this one, and you're going to need your glue. Okay. So I'm going to probably use some of my white glue for this, and of course On the Horizon. And I have already done a lot of the die cutting for you from the Horizons dies. So I wanted to use a few pieces that we hadn't used yet. So I used some of the trees here, a little bit of the landscape, and these remind me of grain elevators. So I used that as well. And let's put together this card. So you're going to have a white card base, basic white, just a simple 5.5 by 8.5, scored at the 4 1/4. I'm using my bone folder to crease that. And I'm going to show you how this is going to layer, because you've got some funny pieces. You've got a window sheet. You have a Night of Navy, and it's not centered. That's on purpose. You have a white page, which looks quite a bit smaller, and you have a piece of designer paper. You will want the blue side up. I'm trying to get the idea of the sky. Okay, so we're going to be creating on that. Then we're going to let it peek through the white. We're going to put our window sheet on and then let all of that peek through the blue. Okay, you should also have a small piece of crushed curry, and that will be for the label. I seem to be missing mine. Just one second here it is, while I get that. And let me just cut about, I just need about a 1/4 inch, half inch strip here. So I'll do that, because I seem to have forgotten it on mine. And then I'm going to be dressing it up with some linen thread as well. So I think I have all the materials I need. So this is how it's going to layer. So I'm actually going to start with the window sheet first. And I want this window sheet to be behind my Night of Navy layer. So the easiest way to do that is to put your glue. I don't use the liquid glue on this part because I find the liquid, it can just run a little bit on the window sheet. So I'm just putting some adhesive around the opening, and then making sure this isn't a shaker card, so I don't need to worry about it being absolutely adhered around all the edges. But now I have my window sheet on there. Okay, next I'm going to be putting my white layer so that it just peeks through. All right, so that's going behind, and I just want an even border around it. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put my adhesive on the white. Okay, so just going around the opening. And what I'm going to do is set that down on my work surface and come at it from the top, so I've got equal distance all the way around. That looks pretty good. I'm looking kind of at the corners and the top and the bottom. So now I've got that layer, and then this is going to peek through underneath, okay? But we're going to decorate this up first. So on this, you should also have some little pieces, die cut pieces. Oh, I hope I have them. Did I use them up on my sample today? Hang on here. Oh, I bet I did. I made an extra sample today. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second here. Can I pause? Okay, I had them all along, so I will just continue here. So what I want to do is make a little landscape. So I'm going to have my ground level, I guess, the horizon. I'm going to put some trees in here so they fit well there. And then I thought having a couple of the grain elevators. So I don't want this little piece to show. So I'm going to cut that right off on both ends. Okay, so I'm going to adhere my dark green to the lighter green just by putting a few glue dots along here. So I'm going to let that, there we go. So now I've put the green trees behind the green hills. And then I'm going to put these little, I just cut some of those out. And I believe I'm only going to be able to see 2 of them. Let's test it out first. So I'm lying that down at the bottom. I'm going to test out kind of having a couple of those peek out. And let's see how much is going to show through. Okay, so actually I'm going to cut off the 3rd. There we go. And poke those in there as if they are off in the distance. And I think I want this quite close to the bottom. Yeah, pretty close to the bottom. Putting my green at the bottom. I'm just setting it all in place here. And then I'm going to have my little green elevators kind of off to the side here. That should work. Okay, so let's put a little bit of glue on my green elevators so I can put them in the right spot, tuck them in behind, push them down, and now I'll glue this piece on top and trim off the excess. So now I'll put a little bit of glue on my trees and on the ground. I want to cover up those bumps on the green elevator. I'm going to bring it up a wee bit more. The nice thing about the white glue is we can bring it up a little bit after it's been stuck down. Okay, now I'm not worrying about these excess bits because they are not going to show at all. Okay, so now we need to get all of this. So remember what we did. We did I had my Night of Navy. I put my window sheet right behind it. I adhered it on first. Then I adhered the white so that I had a frame peeking through. It's going to come on here. We're going to wrap it first. Let's do that as well. So I'm going to put some Stampin' Seal along these edges, and I would like to wrap some of our linen thread. So I always start, that looks like a bit of a frayed end there. Snip that off. I like to wrap it 3 times. So I'm holding it with my thumb at first, once, twice. So what's doing is it's sticking at these back corners, and 3. Keeping it nice and tight. And then snip off the excess. I don't need to go all the way around. There we go. So now I've got 3 layers of the linen thread, And now I want this to pop in here. So again, I think what I'm going to do this time is I am going to use some white glue because I'm putting it on the cardstock. And just putting a little bit around the edges here. And now I'm going to use my fingers to make sure I've got the base. Looks good. And then I'm pressing in all the way around the edge. So I've got this covered. So we've got quite a few layers here from the back. And you could layer the whole card, but I want to hold this down securely. Let's just keep going with my white glue around the edges. Put some across the back here. Put a couple of dots where I have that linen thread to make sure it's holding straight. Got it opening this way and coming straight down from the top. And I like the look of just having this tied loosely. And now we're going to put a label onto the front. So for this one, let's use the Night of Navy ink to coordinate with the Night of Navy. And either one of these, Wishing You So Much Happiness, I don't think we've used that one yet this month. Thanks for Everything works well. Thinking of You works well. I might have cut it a little bit too narrow. I'm making a little bit wider one, and I'd like to use that one because I haven't used it yet. So changing up my plan a little bit here. That's the fun of crafting. You can change it up as you go. Using my Night of Navy, I'm gonna go in the center, Wishing You So Much Happiness. I like that. Let's just see if it would work on the narrow. Not quite. It's a little bit skimpy. So you could certainly use, I can try a different one if you wish. We could use the Thanks for Everything. Let's try that one. Just for fun. Thanks for Everything. That fits very nicely on this narrow strip. Okay. So we have a couple of options there. I think I smudged that a little bit. Let's try that one once more. Wishing You So Much Happiness. Much better. Much better. I think that's the one I'm going to use tonight because that could go for lots of different occasions. So we've glued all of this down. We have our cute little window here. And this is going to sit in the front. So I'd love to, you know what, I want to grab this works, but I'm just going to get my little punch. I love this Banner Maker punch, and I think it would coordinate well because of the angles here. Now this, I used the nested, stitched, what is it called? Stitched. And they are no longer available. So I'm going to show you. I didn't want to give you something that you can't get anymore. So I came up with an alternative. So just hang on a second. I'm just flagging these ends. As I say, I thought it looked cute with the hexagons here. There we go. I like that. Okay, and let's use a couple of dimensionals to pop that one up. And remember, I smudged that the first time, so I've got 3 dimensionals. Pop those backs off. And just center that right over top of the string, the linen thread. And I'm going to use a couple of the brushed metallic dots here. And I think I'll put them, whoops. Let's go 1, 2, and 3. And there is our window sheet card, week number 4. And then of course you have the whole inside. You can decorate. We haven't used this too much. We did use it 1 week. We put the sentiment on top of that inside. I've also seen this used to stamp and then die cut out the little picket fence. It's really cute. So I have a couple of other samples to show you. This was my original with the thinking of you. And then, as I mentioned to you, because those nested dies are no longer available, I used the stitched rectangle dies. So anything that's layered you could use. So I did the same thing using the stitched rectangles, and I decided to leave a little bit more border, which kind of gives them more an idea of a picture frame, I thought. So again, I really like that one. So kind of fun ways to use a window sheet. Okay, so that is the last project for May Tea and Cards. Have a great week, everybody. See you next week.